Shipper, welcome. Thank you so much. Last time we spoke, we discussed this emerging role of a chief automation officer. What is it? Why is it important? And why CEOs and business leaders should really consider having a chief automation officer. What I'd like to do in this discussion, Shipper, is get a sense from you as to just the attributes. What's the job spec, if you will? Because I can assure you, many people watching this discussion are thinking, hey, that could be me, right? And it's a great career path for many. Also, from a demand standpoint, organizations will need that. From a career management standpoint or career aspirations, I am sure there are many people within our network that would see this as attractive. So let's start with the job spec, if you will. And I'm sure it varies by company, right? But for the most part, if you had to pick maybe the top 3 or 4 key skill sets that that would be required for this role, how would you describe that?
So let's do the top 4, right? And I will give different accesses to it. For example, the first one, it has to be someone who is top management quality in the sense that shouldn't say he. I'm a woman, but it just comes automatically again. The person should have the capability to influence and create change and lead change and transformation for the organization, right? So this is someone who is respected and people will listen to. That will kind of be appropriate for impacting the organization and leading a transformation. That's one of the key qualities, right? Because this is the person who's going to do that. That's the leader. When you look at the person, this person needs to be value focused, always looking to see if there is a ROI in the projects and programs that is going to come through here, right? Without ROI, you really don't want to do it, because this is not just strategic what if pie in the sky. You really want to emphasize on the value focus. This person needs to be IT centric, right? Because at the end of the day, the implementation is IT. You have to understand IT complexities. You have to understand how to question and eliminate IT red tape, because we know there is a lot of it there, right? And but know how to manage the framework of IT that requires IT to work right? So be the champion for the right framework, for the right processes that need support for long-term impact, right? Then it has to have the characteristics of agile development, fail fast, identifying the right technology for the right capability, things like that, which are all within that IT domain of us, right? That we think we know as solution architects. This person also, by the way, has to be process centric, because if you think about it, what are you doing? You're actually disrupting a process through automation, right? So unless you understand process, unless you understand how to leverage automation to make the process more efficient, you really can't work on this, right? So these are the things that you have to have an eye for, a thought for, right? So basically you do need to understand how to eliminate waste, maybe understand a little bit of Six Sigma to make sure that you can do that, streamline processes, see where the automation capabilities fit in, how they stitch together, how the change management is going to be impacted. So be a little more empathetic towards, the changes that you're going to bring in, and see how you can do a step at a time instead of doing a whole leap and a jump that could disrupt the whole organization and break, right? So the breaking points of the org is something you have to be careful with.
Right. No, it makes total sense. So I'd like to shift from maybe experience, if you will, to more what I would call, let's say, attributes, right? So from my experience in working with people who are leading change in an organization, they have kind of this unique ability to act as a change agent. You used the word disrupting before. In many cases, as exciting as, let's say, you and I feel this space is, for many, it's intimidating, right? Or it may actually challenge whatever their objectives are, right? So you're showing up, and maybe you're not invited, right? So you have to do that. So what are your thoughts about the importance of that person being, from the standpoint of attributes, if I could use that term, being a change agent, being able to build trust, being politically savvy, right, in getting things done?
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts about in kind of those areas?
It's perfect that you mentioned that, because my first thought would be this person has to be empathetic. You have to understand, when you're a change change agent, you're disrupting, right? So empathy goes a long way to understand the other point of view and see where you can actually minimize that disruption as much as possible when you are trying to go through it. Maybe do several iterations of change before the big change comes, right? Or the big change comes in. So yes, being empathetic, as you said, the attribute, and also having a lot of common sense. Sometimes that's not so common anymore, but you have to think through, right? What is the simplest way to solve a problem instead of trying to go through all these new things and, hypes and stuff like that. Like if there is a common Excel solution to something, why not just do it instead of trying to say we want to put in RPA there, right? So common sense to understand that is a big attribute this person needs, with empathy, with understanding humans, with understanding the reactions of the changes that you're bringing through. So, these are the things that you definitely need. And of course, that, that emotional, what's it called? The emotional intelligence quotient.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what is very much needed here. EQ is high for this part.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. So, and especially when many people out there in the marketplace that you and I know look at this, I would argue very technology centric, almost myopically so. And as you and I have discussed in previous, you and I have touched on in previous discussions how it's really a cross-functional play, right?
Exactly.
So you need to understand the process as much as the finance, as much as maybe the customer impact, above and beyond even technology. So is it fair to say that wherever you come from, so let's say you come up the ranks through finance, or if you're a process leader, that if someone's watching this and wondering what they knew to increase their odds of playing this role, is it fair to say that cross training would be a good idea, right? Kind of adding dimensions to your skill set.
Absolutely. In fact, I think one of the things I was thinking through when you said that, like, can a IT person become a CAO? Yes. Can a business person become a CAO? Yes. But it is that cross training, like you said, right? So you can come from the solution architecture group. You understand all capabilities, you understand technology. But now you have to train yourself to understand process, right? And the business impacts. A business analyst coming from the business side can do the same role, but then that person needs to understand how to solve it, the capabilities. That's the technology aspect of it. But then the commonality between all of them is that emotional intelligence, right? That thought of how to influence, how to be the change, how to persuade people to adopt it happily, and what's in it for them, to answer that question.
Okay, great. Shipra, once again, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate this. This is, aside from this overall being an exciting space, you and I can agree on that. We're both very passionate about it. We can agree that also that this is an exciting role that we will see more and more people play. Absolutely. And with a lot of help from people like you helping to shape and evangelize this I won't even say concept anymore, this new reality of a chief automation officer. So Shipra, once again, thank you for your time and sharing your insights.
Thank you so much, Frank. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to express myself.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Bye.